We're back on WUSB with the Lucky Valentines. The new album is Losses. We've got Jamie and Shaun here. When you describe the night swallowing someone as they walk away, you made something very sad, very beautiful. Why is that the mission statement for this band?
Well, before it's been our mission statement. We used to just call ourselves Sad Bastard Music, but that didn't seem quite like what we really meant. And more recently, we're hearing so much about the mental health crisis in our country, and we are experiencing like a mental and spiritual health crisis. And so for us, using the art that we've been given and we've put work into our music, but it's also something that we both come by naturally. So for us, taking the sadness, and like you said, we're not shying away from it because it's just part of our human experience. And the more that we hear and read and experience this mental health crisis, for us, music is a way to draw that together and say, hey, we're not alone. You are not alone. Each person who's experiencing these dark, heavy things, like we have options, we have outlets, we have each other. So for us, making sad things beautiful is important because the heaviness itself isn't bad. It's just really hard. And so to shine light on it that makes it bearable is part of what we feel our responsibility and joy as artists is. We get to take the hard, difficult, painful things and make them bearable and beautiful.
So, how does hope work into all of this?
Mm.
Hope is the final word on everything.
Yeah, hopes. I think that Swallowed in particular, the song that you're referring to, like there's that last verse in that song, you know, um, where I talk about watching my babies grow and and the love, right? The love that's surviving, right? The Swallowed's a bookend, actually, in counterpoint to Junk Mail, because Swallowed's actually about my first memory as a boy, which was the night my dad left, um, and excuse me, I'm sorry. Um, and so there's this pain that comes from that. There's this pain and fear, and the initial loss, and then the ultimate loss. That are bookended in those songs. But then there's this other ingredient. There's this fire, that we carry and foster, which is the love and hope, which is that um that I get to be a father today to my children. I get to be a father to them, and I get to love them, and I get to, you know, I that love gets to survive, because I might not have always liked the love my father had to give me, but he gave it to me, and that's the legacy. That and the hope and the love are the way that we continue. The hope and the love are the way that we continue, and that we survive, and that we make new good things. And
I think what you said about forgiveness too, like that's part of
mm,
hope as well. Because with all these losses, like these are some of the songs are made up characters, but most of them are real experiences from real pain that we've had. And there's a lot of potential resentment. There's a lot of disappointment, just from being what you think life will be when you're a child, and then you get older, and it's just so disappointing sometimes. But that idea of hope comes comes from forgiveness and forgiving ourselves, forgiving our parents, forgiving the way things went, and not hanging on to that resentment and the disappointments that can make us bitter. But to choose, we have to. I mean, every day we have to choose to forgive and choose to be hopeful. And yeah, this is kind of a heavy album, but I my desire is that that will kind of shine through, and there's a lot about forgiveness in it, and I think that's kind of the first step towards keeping hope alive.
Yeah.
It's not carrying the resentment.
Forgiveness is the ultimate act of hope. You know, forgiveness is the ultimate act of hope. It says I was harmed. It says I was hurt by this, and I forgive you. You know, and it says there is a way forward. That's what forgiveness says. It says there's a way forward. And so, yeah.
How does it feel putting such painful parts of your life out on display for the general public?
Right.
Well, and it depends on the day, Trevor, because some days it feels like, oh man, there's people who give feedback and they're like, I needed this. That song was my story too, and that's huge. That's why we're doing it. But there's other days where it feels like, oh, does this actually matter for anyone? Because yeah, this is us. Here we are. And then if there's silence, or you don't know how people are taking it, it can feel very scary. But I think ultimately it feels, yeah, like Shaun said, it feels right. It feels kind of powerful. Like we never have to be afraid of what's hurt us. We can use it to become more beautiful, to become more compassionate, to become more understanding of other people's sorrows, because everybody is dealing with stuff like this. Everybody's going to lose their parents or a sibling. Everyone's losing something all the time. And that's part of this crisis that we're all in, is it's hard to talk about it, but we feel like, and it's probably easier because we have each other too, but when we talk about it, we take some of the power back into our own hands, and we say, hey, this did hurt, but it's not the end of me. It's not the last thing that happened. There's something beyond this that's beautiful.
Well, I like to close out my show by having my guests pick a song. 2 rules: I give a prompt, and it can't be some.
Nope, you're good.
We're still here.
We're
Just
still
our
here.
camera.
Sorry.
Okay. 2 rules.
Sorry about that.
I give a prompt, and it can't be something that you have had something to do with creating. So the prompt is exactly what your band mission is: sad but beautiful.
So someone else's song.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
Beautiful. Someone
there's
else's
Watch
song.
Over Us.
Watch Over Us. That's a good one.
There's that's a great. You ask really good questions.
Yeah, you do. I would say, you got one?
I mean, I'm thinking of several.
I like "Long May You Run," by Neil Young, or "Unknown Legend." Actually, "Unknown Legend" by Neil Young.
There's also that Ray LaMontagne song, "Empty."
Empty's good.
Hopeful.
Or
there are so many great songs.
Yeah.
Let's go with one from Neil Young. And who was the singer of Empty?
Ray
Ray
LaMontagne.
Yeah.
Let's go with those.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you guys so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having us. We really appreciate it. And thanks for your great questions.
No,